Hello and welcome back to a slightly blustery Sydney today. I'm Natalie MacDonald and you're joining us for another Sydney Direct programme. My next guest, Matt Simpson of ThinkForex, is actually talking to me today from his office in Melbourne, Australia. Matt, thank you very much for joining us today. Now, firstly, would you concur with the steady as she goes picture that Governor Glenn Stevens painted earlier this week?
Hi there, Natalie. Good to catch up with you again. I don't think Glenn Stevens has much of a choice but to see steady as she goes, because there's a lot of uncertainty in the markets. Let's be honest, we are waiting for the US to raise their interest rates first. And it's got the housing market on one hand that's propping the economy up. We don't know if there's a housing bubble, therefore they're not going to raise interest rates, they're not going to lower them. So they're just going to have to wait and see. RBA aren't the kind of central bank to anticipate things. They're going to see how she goes and act accordingly as the economy goes forward. And then hopefully the Aussie dollar will continue to go down and help the economy. And we have to see that working first before they make a decision. That's just how it works.
Now, Matt, it had been thought that a lower Aussie dollar could in fact help shrink that Australian trade balance. Why wasn't this evident in this week's figure?
Well, it wasn't evident simply because we've got falling commodity prices, and if we're exporting those to China and those orders are dropping, that's going to affect the import and export numbers. So it's not down to that one number, unfortunately. But the main drag down was certainly the 40% drop in iron ore prices.
Nonetheless, that lower Aussie dollar and the release of the iPhone 6 did help to facilitate a more solid retail sales figure. Does RBA policy now support more sustainable consumer patterns moving forward?
Well, again, it comes back down to steady as she goes. We can't expect iPhone 6 sales to prop the economy up, and the Aussie dollar is actually dropping, so they're going to have to see how that happens. A lower Aussie dollar is going to help some areas of retail, so if there's tourism, but it's not going to help others. So it's a watch and wait. It's particularly boring if you're trying to trade this particular stuff, but steady as she goes has to be the only way they can be looking at this, and then hoping that the consumer confidence raises to see how retail sales go. But unfortunately, I think as time goes on, I think the confidence will be dropping if we see that house prices no longer supporting the economy, and then that's going to maybe bring up the recession chat again, and that's going to affect retail sales further down the line. And again, iPhone 6 ain't going to stop that.
Lastly then, Matt, that unemployment figure has come in at a flat 6.2%. But will markets be taking this release with perhaps a pinch of salt?
It's been widely talked about this with the numbers. They've corrected them several times already. Now, there's two ways of looking at it. First of all, if you're trying to trade the release, it doesn't matter if the numbers are incorrect, but if you get a number far enough away from expectation, you are going to get a movement and you can make or lose money from that, and that's an opportunity to trade. However, if you're an economist trying to piece it together, that's more of a headache. Until we get 12 or 18 months worth of data, economists are going to have to take this with bags of salt. Until then, we're just going to see how it goes.
Matt Simpson there, joining us from the ThinkForex office in Melbourne, Australia. That's all we've got time for right now. Next week, I'm going to be bringing you another batch of exclusive interviews from here in Sydney, Australia. But for now, it's goodbye from me.